Well, I'm trying to get this late model back together, super late model. We've had some problems with this cylinder head leaking, and I'm using a special epoxy, and I got to put a layer on there, and then I'm going to put another layer, leave it dry, put another layer. But hopefully I can get it. This engine is extremely fast. We went testing Sunday and found a few items, so we think we'll be that much faster. Next day it's hot and the track's slippery. It's just we're always trying something new, and if I fix this little oil leak here is causing this motor to probably be down 50 horsepower, but it's got so much power he don't even need that 50. But one of these days we'll need it come to a good track. But we got a couple big races coming up. We're trying to hit Ponderosa on Friday. It pays 7,500 to win, and Browntown on Saturday it pays 10 grand. And next week there's Florence. It pays 5,000 and 5,000 and 5,000, another five, and it pays 75,000 to win. So if we can do if we make the right moves and right changes, you never know.
Well, I've seen you working on this thing endlessly. I'm just a body guy, but I heard it on the dyno. It sounds awesome. Um, Everybody says you're the mad scientist. That's because when it comes to these motors, there's nobody better. What makes you stand apart?
Well, I just the only thing that makes you better in an engine building situation is really experience. Everybody can build an engine. You can go to school, you can study it. But those who, I've been doing this actually for over 50 years. I've been racing for over 50 years, messing around with engines for probably 52 or 53 years. And it's all about how much you know. It's all about experience. And, you got to have a problem. I get to be the point, I've seen millions of issues and millions of problems. So the people that've been around the longest, those are the people that know the most. It's just anybody that knows anything knows that because you got more experience. And also from the environment you come in from. I come from high tech, so it's not like that. I work on high tech, expensive stuff, and I work on basically right now for the last 20 years. I've worked on anything but high dollar pro stack style motors or top sportsman style motors or these super late models. So everything I've worked on in the last 25 years is super high tech. And before that, I've worked on marine engines. I've worked on I did a lot of street performance stuff. Then you go back before that, I did all race car stuff. So I started out doing all high tech race car. I went to street performance, did a bunch of marine stuff for about 6 or 7 years, and then I went back to all high tech pro stock or top sportsman or super late model. Um, it's just how many, just anything on this motor you don't look at it, you're going to have a problem. So, every problem that I've had, sooner or later, like I started super late model racing 6 years ago, and everybody wanted me to buy this, buy this. I said, no, I'm going to learn it all myself. And I finally determined, and I've almost got it whooped. But it took 6 years of spending a lot of money, and you put the wrong cams, you have everything you do, you got to do at least one time wrong to learn how to do it right.
That's true. Now on these heads, do you make these?
Now I don't make them, but I'm a cylinder head porter. So we port them, we flow them, we look at the airspeed, we look at the swirl. There's a lot more than you don't see. Like you can look at somebody's head, but then what makes them special is how they flow. It's not. It's how the air goes into the cylinder wall, how it goes into the combustion chamber. It's how fast it goes into the combustion chamber, what angle it goes into the combustion chamber at, and how much swirl it has. There's also airspeed, and there's all these fancy formulas, and some of them are, everybody's got their own opinion on the fancy formulas, but we actually use a bunch of old time formulas with some new ones, and I don't know. We start to be really fast, and we're not really breaking anything. So we have conquered how to keep the motor together. We've conquered horsepower. We've always had the horsepower, but you got to learn how to make it have horsepower in a certain RPM range and make it the motor stay together at a certain RPM range. So these motors run between going around that track probably 4,500 to 9,000. So most of your power's got to be 5 to 7,500, but you got to still have power at 45. You still got to have power at 8,000, 85, 9. But you concentrate mostly from 5 to 8. it's just a learning curve. Every time you go around that track and the driver gives you some information, every time you change the camshaft, anytime you put a different carburetor on it, every time you put a different cylinder head on it. All the cylinder heads are really good heads. Some of them a little bigger and flow a little more than others. And we try to, you just keep working at it. And you keep learning and learning, going faster and faster, and keeping the motor together. And